The Uber driver's tires crunched over the gravel at exactly 6:47 p.m. on a Friday in November. The sound felt like an announcement I wasn't ready to make. I stared through the window at Grandpa Silas's house. White columns, trimmed hedges, and warm golden light spilling from every window like a greeting card. It was the kind of house where family dinners happened every Friday. The kind of house where I'd always felt welcome, until recently. I paid the driver, tipped him through the app, and walked up the stone pathway carrying a bottle of wine. I'd bought it specifically because Mom had mentioned last week that Grandpa was running low on his favorite Malbec. I was always doing things like that, small gestures trying to smooth over the feeling that I was somehow always slightly in the way. I'd been the easy child my entire life, the one who didn't make waves, the one who understood, the one whose needs were flexible, negotiable, and postponable. When we were kids, my brother Jasper got first choice of everything. The front seat of the car because he got car sick in the back, Mom said, though he never actually threw up. The bigger bedroom because he was older and needed more space. The better Christmas presents because he was more social and needed nice things to maintain his image with friends. When I was 16, I saved up for a used gaming console. Mom borrowed it for Jasper's birthday party because his friends wanted to play. "And you're not using it that weekend anyway," she had said. It never came back. She'd given it to him. When I asked about it 3 weeks later, she acted confused. "You said he could have it," she insisted. I hadn't, but arguing would have made me the difficult one. When Jasper graduated college, the family threw a massive party at a country club, rented venue. 120 people, open bar, live band, the works. When I graduated 2 years later with honors, and in 3 years instead of 4, we had dinner at Applebee's. Just 7 people. Mom said it was because Jasper overcame more obstacles, so his achievement was more significant. The pattern had always been there. I just hadn't wanted to see it clearly until the car. The front door was unlocked. It always was for family dinners. I walked in, and the smell of roasted chicken wrapped around me immediately, making my stomach growl. I'd skipped lunch to finish a website redesign for a client. The dining room was already full. My mother, Veronica, sat closest to the kitchen, her auburn hair pulled back in the severe bun she favored. My stepdad, Neil, sat next to her, scrolling through his phone like he always did until food arrived. My older brother, Jasper, was across from them, looking relaxed and confident in a button-down shirt that probably cost more than my rent. And at the head of the table, 74-year-old Grandpa Silas Crane sat like a benevolent king surveying his domain. His white hair was combed back perfectly, his blue eyes sharp despite his age. "There's my boy," Grandpa boomed when he saw me, his face lighting up. I smiled. "Hey, Grandpa, brought you some wine." "You didn't have to do that," he said, but he was already reaching for it, examining the label with approval. Then, his gaze flicked past me to the front door, toward the empty driveway where my car should have been parked. His brow furrowed. "Raven," he asked, confusion creeping into his voice. "Why did you arrive in an Uber? What happened to the SUV we bought you for your 24th birthday?" The room went quiet like someone had sucked all the oxygen out. Heat crawled up my neck. My stomach dropped. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. Before I could form words, my mother's voice cut through the silence. Calm, practiced, pleasant. "Oh, Dad," Veronica said lightly, waving her hand dismissively. Jasper needed it more. The words landed like stones. Grandpa's expression didn't change immediately. He just sat there, processing. Jasper didn't look surprised or uncomfortable. He just sipped his wine, eyes down, like this was completely normal. I stared at my mother. "You, what?" Veronica kept that same pleasant expression. "Jasper's car died last week, complete transmission failure. He has important client meetings, real career responsibilities. You work from home doing websites, Raven. You don't need an SUV sitting in your parking lot unused." Grandpa's jaw went slack. Neil's eyes darted between us like he was watching a tennis match. My cousin Maya, who I hadn't noticed sitting at the far end, stopped chewing mid-bite. That SUV, a 2024 Toyota Highlander in gunmetal gray, was special. Grandpa had handed me the keys himself 8 months ago on my birthday, saying he wanted me to be safe and independent. It had been the first gift that felt purely mine, not a family gift, not something with strings attached. Mine, and Mom had just reassigned it. "I never agreed to that," I whispered. Veronica's smile tightened slightly, like I was being difficult. "Raven, it's family, we share. That's what families do. Jasper needs it more urgently than you do. It's not personal." Grandpa's hands, which had been resting on the white tablecloth, went very still. His eyes stayed on my mother, and something in his expression changed, like a door closing or a decision being made in real time. He pushed his chair back. The scrape of wood on hardwood was loud in the silence. With the entire room holding its breath, Grandpa Silas stood up slowly and said, "Veronica, bring me the keys to Raven's SUV, right now." My mother's face held its pleasant shape too long, like she thought this was a joke she didn't get yet. Then she realized Grandpa wasn't smiling. His expression was carved from granite. "Dad," she said, lowering her voice to that tone she used when she wanted to sound reasonable. "You're making this awkward. It's already handled. Jasper has the car, it's fine." Grandpa didn't raise his voice, that was somehow scarier. "I'm not the one who took something that wasn't hers without asking." He turned to look at Jasper. "Do you have the car here tonight?" Jasper's cheeks flushed red. "Grandpa, it's temporary, I needed it. Raven doesn't even drive every day. He works from home. It makes more sense for me to have it until my car is fixed." Hearing my name used like a bargaining chip, like my needs were negotiable, made my stomach turn. "So, you do have it," Grandpa said flatly. "At my apartment," Jasper admitted. "I drove it to work today." Veronica stood up, her chair scraping. "Dad, be reasonable. Jasper has clients, important meetings. You want your grandson to lose his job because he doesn't have reliable transportation." Grandpa's gaze sharpened. "Then you find a solution that doesn't involve stealing from your other son." He turned to Neil. "Did you know about this?" Neil cleared his throat, looking uncomfortable for the first time. Veronica said it was fine. She said she'd talked to Raven about it. She said Raven wouldn't mind sharing since he doesn't use the car much. "I did mind," I said, louder than I meant to. My voice cracked slightly. "You didn't even ask me. You just took my keys while I was sleeping and gave them to Jasper. I woke up and my car was gone. I had to take an Uber to a client meeting." Veronica's nostrils flared. "We didn't take it, Raven. It's staying in the family. Stop being dramatic. This is exactly why you need to grow up. You don't understand how the real world works." "The real world where people steal from their children?" I shot back. Grandpa pulled out his phone. The motion was so deliberate, so calm, that the entire room went silent. Everyone watched. He tapped the screen with steady fingers, then placed a call on speaker. Silas Crane, a professional woman's voice answered. Crisp, efficient. "Petra, it's 7:30 p.m. on a Friday. This must be important." "This is Silas," Grandpa said, his voice formal. "Petra, I need you to do two things tonight. First, report my 2024 Toyota Highlander, gray, license plate 7XRT 449, as unauthorized use. The vehicle was taken without the intended recipient's permission. Second, email my estate attorney, Gerald Vaughn, and schedule an emergency meeting for tomorrow morning at 9:00 a.m. My mother's face drained of color, actual color, like someone had pulled a plug. "Dad, what are you doing?" "I'm doing what I should have done the moment I realized you confuse family with entitlement." Jasper sat up straight, his wine glass frozen halfway to his mouth. "Grandpa, unauthorized use? That's accusing me of." "That's what it is," Grandpa cut in, his voice cold. "I purchased that vehicle as a birthday gift for Raven. The title is currently in my name because I wanted to handle the insurance for the first year. I told Raven I'd transfer the title at year's end, after he'd had time to get comfortable with it. But it was purchased for him, given to him." He looked at Veronica. "And you took his keys. You handed them to Jasper and you expected me to smile because you wrapped it in words like needed and sharing." Veronica's mouth opened and closed. No sound came out. Neil looked like he'd been punched. Petra's voice crackled through the phone speaker. "Mr. Crane, do you want me to contact the local police department regarding the unauthorized use?" Grandpa didn't hesitate. "Yes, you're calling the police on your own daughter?" Veronica's voice rose to a shriek. "On your grandson?" Grandpa leaned forward, both hands flat on the table. "No, Veronica, I'm calling them on thieves. Family or not, theft is theft." The word landed like a physical slap. Jasper's eyes went wide. Maya dropped her fork. Neil's face went red. "This is insane," Jasper protested, finding his voice. "Grandpa, it's a car. We're family. You can't seriously." "Exactly," Grandpa interrupted. "We're family, and family doesn't take what isn't theirs, then shame the person who was wronged for being upset about it." Veronica stood, her chair screeching backward. "Dad, stop this right now. Think about what you're doing. Raven will be embarrassed. This will cause problems." I almost laughed. I would be embarrassed? I'd been taking Ubers for a week, watching my bank account drain, trying to figure out how to ask for my car back without causing drama. And she was worried about me being embarrassed now? Grandpa pointed toward the foyer. "Raven arrived in an Uber tonight because you stripped his independence without even having the basic decency to ask him first. You didn't discuss it. You didn't negotiate. You just took. The embarrassment belongs exactly where the behavior belongs, with the people who did the taking." Petra's voice came through again. "Mr. Crane, I'm making the call now. Officers should arrive within 20 minutes. "Thank you, Petra." "Wait," Veronica's voice cracked. "Dad, please think about this. Think about the family. Thanksgiving is in 2 weeks. You're going to ruin everything over a car." "I'm not ruining anything," Grandpa said quietly. "You already did that the moment you decided Raven's property was communal just because he's the younger son, the quiet one, the one who doesn't make waves." Something in his tone made my chest tight. He'd seen it. The pattern I thought I'd been imagining. Neil stood up. Silas, maybe we can work this out privately. Jasper can return the car tonight. We don't need police involved. This is family business. If it was family business, you would have handled it like family, Grandpa said. You would have asked Raven, you would have offered to help Jasper rent a car, you would have done literally anything except steal. But you didn't. So now it's legal business. 17 minutes later, headlights swept across the windows. Red and blue lights reflected off the white columns of Grandpa's house. A police cruiser rolled into the circular driveway. Grandpa walked to the door calmly, like he was greeting dinner guests. He opened it before the officers could knock. 2 officers stood there. The older one, maybe 50, nameplate reading SGT R. Mitchell, had the look of someone who'd seen everything. The younger one, late 20s, Officer D. Park on her nameplate, had a notebook out. "Good evening," Grandpa said. "Thank you for coming. I'm Silas Crane. I called about unauthorized vehicle use." Sergeant Mitchell nodded. "Mr. Crane, can you explain the situation?" Grandpa stepped aside, gesturing them in. They entered the foyer, taking in the scene. The interrupted dinner, the frozen family members, the tension thick enough to cut. 8 months ago, I purchased a 2024 Toyota Highlander as a birthday gift for my grandson, Raven. Grandpa explained clearly, precisely. The vehicle was intended solely for him. The title is currently in my name for insurance purposes, but it was explicitly given to him. 1 week ago, my daughter Veronica and my other grandson, Jasper, took the vehicle without Raven's knowledge or consent. They've been using it since. Raven had to take an Uber here tonight because his car is in Jasper's possession. Veronica stepped forward, her voice shaking. "Officers, this is a misunderstanding. It's a family vehicle. We're just sharing it within the family. My father is overreacting to a simple arrangement." "Ma'am," Officer Park said gently but firmly, "who currently has the vehicle?" Jasper stood up slowly. "It's at my apartment. But I'm family. Grandpa bought it. It's not like I stole a stranger's car. The vehicle was given as a gift to a specific individual," Sergeant Mitchell said. "Even if the title is in Mr. Crane's name, once a gift is given, taking it without permission constitutes unauthorized use. Who has the keys?" Jasper pulled them from his pocket slowly and held them up. "I have them, but Mom gave them to me. She took them from Raven's apartment." Officer Park was writing everything down. "Mr. Crane, do you have documentation proving this was a gift to Raven specifically?" "Yes," Grandpa said. He pulled out his phone, tapped a few times, then showed them a photo. "This is from Raven's birthday dinner 8 months ago. I'm handing him the keys. The card visible in this photo says to Raven, 'For your independence and safety. Love, Grandpa.' I also have the purchase receipt, the insurance policy listing Raven as the primary driver, and a draft title transfer document my attorney prepared for December 31st. Sergeant Mitchell studied the phone, then nodded. "That's pretty clear intent. Mr. Crane, what outcome are you looking for here?" "I want the vehicle returned to Raven immediately, tonight, and I want both sets of keys, the primary and the spare." Jasper's voice cracked. "I needed it. My transmission failed. I can't afford repairs right now." "Then you ask for help," Grandpa said, turning to face him. "You don't take, there's a difference." Officer Park looked at Jasper. "Sir, where is the vehicle currently located?" "My apartment, Riverside Complex on Morrison Street, Unit 3B. "We're going to need you to return it tonight," Mitchell said. "Mr. Crane, do you want to press charges?" The room held its breath. Grandpa looked at me, really looked at me. "Raven, it's your car, your decision." Everyone turned to stare at me. Veronica's eyes were pleading. Jasper looked terrified. Neil looked resigned. Maya was texting furiously, probably telling the rest of the family. I thought about all the times I'd been overlooked. The times Jasper got first choice for everything. The times my needs were considered negotiable while his were urgent. The times I'd stayed quiet to keep the peace. "I don't want to press charges," I said finally. "I just want my car back tonight with both keys, and I want Mom to know she can't just take my things." Veronica's shoulders sagged with relief. "Thank you, Raven. See, we can work this out." "I'm not done," I interrupted. The room went quiet again. "I also want it clear that this doesn't happen again. Not with my car, not with anything else. I'm not a kid anymore. My things are mine. If you need something, you ask, you don't take." Sergeant Mitchell nodded. "Fair enough. Mr. Jasper Crane, you'll need to return the vehicle to this address within the next 2 hours. Both keys. If it's not returned, we'll be filing a report and Mr. Silas Crane can pursue charges." "Understood." Jasper nodded mutely. "And ma'am," Officer Park said, looking at Veronica. "In the future, taking someone's property without permission, even family, can result in criminal charges. Even if your intentions were good, the law doesn't distinguish based on relationship." Veronica's face was red, humiliated, angry, but she nodded. The officers left. Grandpa closed the door behind them. The dining room was silent except for the sound of cooling food and quiet breathing. Veronica turned on me. Are you happy now? You made your grandfather call the police on his own family. You humiliated us over a car. I didn't do this, I said, my voice steady despite my shaking hands. You did. Grandpa just refused to pretend it was normal. You could have just shared. I would have, I said louder. If you'd asked. If you told me Jasper needed help. If you treated me like an adult with agency instead of just taking what you wanted. But you didn't ask. You took my keys while I was sleeping. You gave them to Jasper. You made me look like an idiot when my client asked why I needed a ride. You didn't even tell me until I noticed the car was gone. Neil spoke up quietly. Veronica, he's right, you should have asked. Veronica whirled on him. Don't you start, you agreed this was fine. I agreed because you said Raven knew about it, Neil shot back. You lied to me too. Grandpa walked back to the table, but instead of returning to the head, he pulled out the chair next to me and sat down. Raven, he said softly, I'm sorry you felt alone in this family. I should have noticed sooner. My throat was tight. You notice now, that matters. He put his hand over mine. Your grandmother would be ashamed. She hated favoritism. Hated when people took advantage of the quiet ones. Jasper stood up. I should go get the car. Yes, Grandpa said. You should. And Jasper, tomorrow morning, you and I are going to have a conversation about what help looks like when it doesn't harm someone else. Jasper left without looking at me. Maya stood up too. I should probably go. This got intense. After she left, it was just the five of us. Me, Grandpa, Veronica, Neil, and a table full of cold food. I think, Grandpa said, we need to have a family meeting. A real one. About patterns, about respect, about how this family operates. Because what happened tonight shouldn't have been necessary. Dad, Veronica started. Tomorrow, Grandpa said firmly, 1:00 p.m., my house. You, Neil, Jasper, and Raven, we're going to talk about why you thought this was acceptable, and we're going to talk about what changes. And if I don't want to come? Veronica asked, her voice cold. Grandpa stood up. Then you don't. But you should know that I've scheduled a meeting with Gerald Vaughn, my estate attorney, tomorrow morning. I'm reviewing my will. I'm reviewing my trusts, and I'm making very sure that the people who benefit from my estate are the people who respect boundaries and treat each other with basic decency. Veronica's face went white. You're threatening to cut me out. I'm not threatening anything, Grandpa said. I'm informing you that I'm reviewing everything. If you think taking from Raven is acceptable, then you need to understand there are consequences. Maybe not from him, he's too kind to fight back. But from me, I don't tolerate theft. I don't tolerate manipulation. I don't tolerate treating one grandchild like his needs are worth less than another's. He looked at me. Raven, you're welcome to stay here tonight. The guest room is always ready, or I can drive you home when your car arrives. I'll wait for my car, I said quietly. Good. He smiled at me. I'll keep you company. Veronica and Neil left 20 minutes later, their exit silent and stiff. The dinner, roasted chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, sat untouched and cold on the table. Grandpa started putting food in containers. I'm sorry, I said. I didn't mean to ruin dinner. You didn't ruin anything, Grandpa said firmly. Your mother did. I'm just sorry I didn't see it happening sooner. How long has this been going on? I thought about it, really thought about it. My whole life, I guess. Jasper gets first choice. Gets the benefit of the doubt. Gets help immediately when he needs it. I'm supposed to be understanding, flexible, the easy one. That stops now, Grandpa said. He was loading the dishwasher with practiced efficiency. Your grandmother always said the quiet ones get overlooked. She made me promise to watch out for that. I failed, but I'm fixing it. What are you going to do? He turned to face me. Tomorrow morning, I'm meeting with Gerald Vaughn. We're going to revise my will. Currently, everything is split equally between your mother and Uncle David. That's changing. Grandpa, you don't have to. I want to, he said. Not because I'm angry, though I am, but because I'm clear now. Your mother sees assets, not people. She sees resources to be allocated, not relationships to be nurtured. Until she learns the difference, she doesn't get to benefit from my estate. What about Jasper? Jasper made a choice tonight. He took something that wasn't his and justified it by saying he needed it more. That's not how adults behave. He's 28 years old enough to know better. At 9:47 p.m., headlights swept across the windows again. This time, no red and blue lights, just a gray Toyota Highlander pulling into the driveway. I stood up. My hands were shaking. Grandpa put his hand on my shoulder. Do you want me to come with you? No, I've got this. I walked outside. Jasper was getting out of the driver's seat. He looked exhausted, defeated. Here, he said, holding out both sets of keys. Main key and spare. Tank's full. I was going to fill it anyway. I took the keys. They felt heavy in my hand. Real. I'm sorry, Jasper said quietly. I didn't think. I just needed transportation. And Mom said it was fine and I didn't question it. You should have questioned it, I said. It was my car. You should have asked me. I know. He looked at the ground. I've been thinking about it all night, about how many times I've just taken things, assumed you'd be fine with it. Mom always said you didn't mind. I minded, I said. I just didn't know how to fight back without being the bad guy. You're not the bad guy tonight, Jasper said. He looked at me finally. I am, and I'm sorry, really sorry. I wanted to stay angry, wanted to make him feel worse. But looking at him, really looking at him, I saw something I hadn't expected. Shame, real shame. Don't do it again, I said. Not with my stuff. Not with anyone's stuff. If you need help, ask, but don't take. I won't, he said. And Raven, I'm paying for the Ubers. However many you had to take this week, send me the receipts. You don't have to. I do, he said. I cost you money. I cost you convenience. I embarrassed you. I owe you more than gas money, but it's a start. He turned and walked to a Honda Civic parked at the curb, presumably a rental or borrowed from a friend. I got in my car, started the engine, and felt the familiar rumble. Grandpa was standing in the doorway when I pulled forward to leave. He raised his hand in a wave. I waved back. I drove home feeling lighter than I had in weeks, maybe years. The next morning at 10:47 a.m., my phone rang. Grandpa, I answered. Meeting with Gerald is done, he said. Newell is drafted and it's a doozy. What did you do? Gerald Vaughn, he's been my estate attorney for 32 years. Helped me build my entire estate plan when your grandmother was still alive. He thinks I'm being harsh. I think I'm being clear. Harsh how? I'm splitting my estate 3 ways now instead of 2, Grandpa said. 1/3 to your Uncle David, he's never had issues with boundaries. 1/3 directly to you, in a trust that gives you full control when you turn 30. And 1/3 to your mother, in a restricted trust with very specific conditions. What kind of conditions? Grandpa's voice was firm. She gets income from the trust, enough to maintain a comfortable lifestyle, but she can't touch the principal. She can't liquidate assets. She can't redirect funds. And this is the important part. If she ever takes something from you again without permission, anything from a car to a book to a coffee mug, the entire trust collapses. All remaining principal goes directly to you. My stomach dropped. Grandpa, that's fair, he interrupted. Gerald put something in there called an anti-abuse clause. He's used them in cases involving family members with boundary issues. It protects vulnerable beneficiaries from being exploited by other beneficiaries. In this case, you're the vulnerable one, not because you're weak, because you're too kind. You don't fight back, so I'm fighting back for you. What did the attorney say? Gerald asked if I was sure, said it was an aggressive move, might cause family fractures. I told him the family was already fractured. I was just acknowledging reality. He drafted it. We had it witnessed by 2 of his paralegals. Linda Chen, been with his firm 18 years, and Marcus Patel, 7 years, all completely legal and ironclad. When does Mom find out? Family meeting at 1:00 p.m., Grandpa said. She knows there's a meeting, doesn't know why. I want everyone there. You, your mother, Neil, Jasper. Time to have an honest conversation about patterns. I felt sick. This is going to explode. It already exploded. Grandpa said gently. Last night, when I had to call the police because your mother stole from you, we're just dealing with the aftermath now. What did Mom say? Don't know yet. Family meeting is at 1:00 p.m. You coming? I thought about it, thought about facing Mom again, facing the conflict. Yeah, I said. I'll be there. The family meeting was tense from the moment I walked in at 12:57 p.m. Mom was already there, sitting stiffly on Grandpa's leather couch. Neil sat next to her, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. Jasper arrived 2 minutes after me, eyes red like he'd been crying. Grandpa sat in his armchair, the big one by the fireplace that had been his spot for as long as I could remember. He had a folder in his lap, official-looking documents visible inside. Thank you all for coming, Grandpa said formally. We need to talk about what happened last night, and more importantly, we need to talk about patterns. Mom's face was tight. Dad, if this is about the car, I've already apologized. You haven't, I said quietly. You said, sorry for the misunderstanding. That's not the same thing. Mom's eyes flashed. I'm sorry you felt hurt by a practical arrangement. See, that's the problem, Grandpa interrupted. You're apologizing for Raven's feelings, not for your actions. Let me be very clear about what happened. You entered his apartment with a spare key. You took his car keys without his knowledge or permission. You gave them to Jasper. When Raven discovered his car was missing and called you, you didn't apologize. You told him to take an Uber because his needs were less important than Jasper's. Jasper's car was broken? Veronica said defensively. What was I supposed to do? Let him miss work? Help him rent a car? Grandpa said. Loan him your car. Drive him to meetings yourself? Literally any solution that didn't involve taking from Raven. But you didn't even consider those options because, in your mind, Raven's property isn't really his. It's communal family resources that you can reallocate as needed. Mom's face flushed red. That's not. I don't think that way. Let me show you something, Grandpa said. He opened the folder and pulled out a piece of paper. I asked Raven to write down times when his belongings or boundaries were violated by family members. Times when he was treated as less important than Jasper. He sent me this list this morning. Do you want to know how long it is? Dad, Mom started. 23 incidents, Grandpa said, going back to age 8. The gaming console that was borrowed and never returned. The college graduation party that was downgraded to Applebee's. The laptop you took from his apartment to give to Jasper when Jasper's computer died. Didn't ask, just took. The family vacation where Raven's room request was given to Jasper's girlfriend because she needed the better view. 23 documented times where Raven's needs were considered negotiable while Jasper's were treated as urgent. Jasper's voice was quiet. I didn't know about all of those. That's because Raven never complained, Grandpa said. He stayed quiet. He was the easy one, the one who understood, the one who didn't make waves, and you, he looked at Mom. You took advantage of that over and over, until last night when I finally saw it clearly. Mom's hands were shaking. I never meant to hurt him. Jasper needed things, I was just trying to help. At Raven's expense, Grandpa said flatly, every single time. And here's what's going to change. I met with my estate attorney this morning, Gerald Vaughn. I've revised my will. The room went absolutely silent. I'm not cutting you out, Veronica, Grandpa continued. But I am protecting Raven. Your inheritance will be in a restricted trust. You'll have income for life, but you will not have access to the principal. You will not have the ability to redirect funds. And if you ever take something from Raven again, anything, no matter how small, the entire trust collapses. Everything remaining goes directly to Raven. Mom's face went white. You're punishing me. I'm protecting your son from you, Grandpa corrected. Because clearly you won't do it yourself. This is insane, Mom said, standing up. Her voice was rising. You're destroying this family over a car? No, I said, finding my voice. You destroyed trust. Grandpa's just responding to reality. Mom turned on me. So, you're happy now? You got your grandfather to turn against me to threaten my inheritance, all because you couldn't just share a car for a few weeks? It wasn't a few weeks, I said, my voice steady despite the shaking in my hands. It was indefinite. You never planned to give it back. Jasper was driving it like it was his. You told people it was the family car now. I heard you on the phone with Aunt Rachel saying Jasper needed it more than I did, so you'd redistributed resources. Mom's mouth opened and closed. You were listening to my phone calls. You were on speakerphone in Grandpa's driveway 2 days ago, I said. I was pulling up for our weekly lunch and you didn't hear me approach. I heard everything. You told Aunt Rachel that I didn't really need a car because I work from home, that Jasper's career was more important, that I was being precious about ownership. Grandpa stood up. Veronica, I'm going to say this once more. Raven is your son, not your resource allocation problem, not your backup plan, not your spare parts for Jasper's life. He's your son, start treating him like it or accept the consequences. Neil spoke for the first time. Veronica, he's right. I've been watching this for 2 years since we got married. You treat the boys differently. I've tried to bring it up privately. You always have reasons, always have explanations, but they are excuses. You favor Jasper, it's obvious. Mom rounded on him. Don't you dare. I'm not done, Neil said, his voice firmer than I'd ever heard it. Last night you lied to me. You told me Raven knew about the car, that he'd agreed. He hadn't. You lied to me to get me to go along with taking his property. That makes me complicit in theft. I'm not okay with that. Jasper stood up suddenly. This is my fault too. I took the car. I used it. I knew Raven didn't really agree. He just didn't fight back. He never fights back. And I've been taking advantage of that my whole life. He looked at me. I'm sorry, Raven, for all of it, not just the car. For every time I took something of yours and kept it. For every time I got first choice and didn't question it. For every time you were overlooked and I let it happen because it benefited me. His voice cracked. You're my little brother. I'm supposed to look out for you. Instead, I've been taking from you for 24 years. The room was silent except for Mom's quiet crying. Grandpa sat back down. Here's what happens now. The will is changed. The trust is established. The consequences are clear. Veronica, you have a choice. You can accept that your pattern of favoritism was harmful and work to change it, or you can continue as you have been and accept the financial consequences. But either way, the taking stops. Today, now, forever. He looked at me. Raven, you have full permission from me. From this family meeting, from everyone in this room to say no, to protect your boundaries, to stand up for yourself. You don't need to be easy anymore. You don't need to be understanding. You don't need to smooth things over. Your needs matter exactly as much as anyone else's. My throat was tight. Thank you. Mom looked up, mascara streaking her face. I love you, Raven, I do. I never meant to hurt you. But you did, I said quietly. Over and over. And you never noticed because I never complained loud enough. That's on both of us, but now you know.